Do you have a candle?
Of course.
Which one would you like?
Pick one.
This one?
Green one?
This one?
It is on though. Do you want to put a candle on the table?
Yeah, this was going to do that.
Okay, I'll get it. So no one like wax burns themselves.
Oh yeah, we don't have insurance. Just one that's not going to really like cover our faces.
Just offer a little bit of illumination.
Yeah. And then there was like...
Just a smidgen.
Oof,
Okay.
Speaking of wax, wax on. Wax. To be fair, it's nice scraping off wax, so...
It is nice.
Off the table.
It's like just scraping it.
Don't mind me this episode. The whole time just sort of like...
Oh yeah, we are recording, aren't we? That said, welcome to episode 45.
Right, I think you were joking. Sorry.
Welcome to episode 45 of Why We're Not Recording This.
Yep.
And back again with another one. And before we proceed, please do like, comment and subscribe. Actually, and we've got Holly, obviously. There's a new face, so yes, we've got Holly. Sorry, I got distracted because I found myself looking at the statistics. I thought 60% of the people that watch are not subscribed. So I thought, oh, you know what, let me just start plugging and saying words. But yeah, anyways, I guess that was the loading screen.
Yeah.
But yeah, today joined by Holly. And Holly is where should I start? Actually, do you want to just intro?
Yeah, how do you like, what do you say when people say, what are you?
What are you?
Human.
I would say artist, singer, poet, stranger to many, a friend to some.
Very nice.
A friend to you too.
Oh, very nice.
Oh, that's a little
Hey, this is going well.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, so what came first? The poetry or the music?
Ooh. So I would say that, do you know what came first actually? Drawing came first.
Oh,
That's nice.
Yeah, drawing came first. I was always like scribbling stuff.
Mhm.
And then I think from there, I kind of learned how to put that like rhythm into writing words.
Okay.
And then melodies were always like in the back of my mind when I was like sketching and doing stuff like that. And then the two kind of just like came together. So yeah, I don't even know. Drawing, if that's my answer.
It's a nice answer. I think it's nice to hear you say like melody when you talk about drawing. I think that's something that people forget happens when you draw, is that there's a lot of melody, there's a lot of rhythm. You have to pause and think about what comes next. Yeah, that's really nice.
Yeah.
So at what point did the two come together? Like how old were you? Like when did that become a thing?
I was pretty young because I was always involved in, I was putting guitar lessons when I was like 7 or something. So I always was listening to...
It's okay.
What were you listening to?
The beads want to get involved. I was always listening to like Bob Marley because you know when you're like learning guitar and you're like 7, they always get you to play like "No Woman, No Cry." Like that's
bang, bang,
bang. That's the standard song they get you to play. So I was always sort of listening to those rhythms, and then I think I started songwriting when I was probably like a little bit older, like maybe sort of 11, 12. But it was always just fun. It was always just like, oh, let's just like make a song for something silly, like pretend we're like writing an advert, you know.
Oh, that's a nice little brief, you know.
Yeah.
That's really nice.
That's a whole brief.
Look, I'm like, wow, I spent a day doing that.
Not
That's
just
really
journaling,
nice.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, just like it was things like I remember writing something that was meant to be a song for an orange drink.
Okay.
You know, imagine an American style commercial
Yeah.
about an
You
orange
can taste
drink.
the zestiness in it.
You already know.
I know.
Let's write a song.
I can hear it right now. It's juicy, delicious. Yeah, I hear it.
Yeah. And then I was put into choirs from quite a young age as well. And I think, and like gospel choirs. And that's when I like loved, like I learned about music theory and I learned about how to sing in harmony. And that's like my like favorite thing ever. Like singing in harmony. I love like figuring out harmonies in songs. And I like helping other people with it as well. Because it's like really fun.
Yeah.
Whereas some people see it like a chore, but I'm like, no, this is fun because the note here works with this note. And then if you put it here, it works with this. Like, I like that. I find it fascinating.
Yeah.
So I guess kind of like when you're writing poetry, because there is a rhythm to it. So it's like, there's a pop to it. So like, have you always rolled with the guitar? Because that's actually how we met, or where you were performing with your guitar.
Yeah.
Have you always rolled with it then?
Do you know what? I've always played, but I used to feel scared of performing with a guitar because my hands used to get really sweaty.
I've never heard anyone say that. Like,
so honest, like, oh yeah,
Jeez,
that could happen. Like, yeah.
It was a genuine fear.
Yeah.
Like it was and it put me off for years. I used to sing with other people because I used to be like, I can't play because it would just be the worst thing ever. And then recently I've been like, that is a fear in my own head that is actually holding me back because performing on my own, just with me and not having anyone else to like, kind of need to compromise with or need to do certain things with, I think it's a completely different experience. And I was just like, I have to take that leap and start actually like performing just with myself because it's the sort of step I wanted to take. So I was really happy that I kind of pushed past that internal fear and I was like, I'm just gonna try to perform with myself and my guitar, my sweaty hands.
Yeah, but like, what triggered it? Because it must have come from somewhere, or at least it happened to someone.
It's just a thing I got from my mum. Just anxiety. When you're thinking, I hope this doesn't happen.
Yeah, and that's all you're thinking is, this might happen.
Yeah, so you're not in
might
tune,
happen.
then
Let's hope it
you're
doesn't.
actually sweating because you're thinking about it.
Yeah,
Right,
exactly.
So we first met you when you were performing at a pull-up event. Oh, speak up and
no.
Pull up and speak.
Speak and sing.
No, you got further away.
No, actually, he's right.
Oh my god, that's even worse.
We are definitely keeping that.
This whole bit out. Like
No,
this
we're
whole
definitely
bit.
keeping
There's
that.
pull up and speak and pull up and sing, but this was the combined. Because I did a poem and a song.
Yeah, so you did
poem
both.
and a
Like,
song.
flex.
Okay, I'm gonna start this bit again. We met you at Pull Up. You performed at the event. And I think what was so nice about you was that you kind of started by like totally disarming yourself and being like, I'm kind of nervous right now. I've not done this in a while. I think you said I've not done this in a while. I've not done this before. I can't remember which one you had said, but I feel like you immediately just did this thing where everyone in the room was just on your team. Like straight off the bat, everyone was on your side and you were just so human with it. There was no ego, no nothing. And you were just amazing. And so you performed a song and then you performed a piece of poetry as well. And as soon as you had finished, me and Nate just looked at each other like, get her details.
Yeah, like we like
Immediately.
Yeah.
Get those details right now. That was amazing. What was that performance like for you? And like, how are you feeling before that? Because that event was way bigger than you can imagine from the flyer. Like it's bigger than you can.
And the palms are sweaty.
Yeah.
Mum spaghetti. Yeah. Something like that. Sorry.
I'm
not.
Eminem. Where did you come
Marshall. But yeah, go on.
Well, yeah, that performance was pretty big for me because it was. I've done songwriting for a while, but I've done it for other people. So I've been like, so I like help people with their projects and like I said, harmonies and melodies and stuff. That's like my thing. But I've never really like taken the leap and done my own stuff before. So this is like me in my era of just, giving it a go and trying my own stuff. So it was pretty big for me because it was the first time I'd sort of performed in that way before. I performed sort of original stuff with a band and like with other people, but that was the first time I disarmed. I just did it myself, and it was quite amazing because I went into it with the intention of completely having no ego, no anything like that, just being myself. And I kind of said to myself beforehand, some people may not like it, but that's okay, because as long as you're trying to be like as authentic as you can be, then that's all that matters. And that kind of gave me the boost that I needed to go, okay, it doesn't really matter how it ends up because I'm happy that I've done this anyway.
Yeah.
And performing an original song that I had no idea what anyone else was going to think or feel about was definitely scary. Yeah. It was definitely like, ooh, I don't know how this is going to be received, but I kind of was just like, maybe it doesn't matter. Like, maybe I just need to sing.
Everyone saw the moment where you decided, oh, fuck it, I'm just going to do it. Like, and you just and then you were just locked in. And you are phenomenal. Like, you are an amazing performer, both musically and poetically. Like,
so I was like, what's your strong point?
Yeah, like, I don't think you know, like, how, maybe you don't, maybe you do know, but, like, it feels like maybe you don't know, like, how good you actually are, because, like, you almost don't need the pre-speech. Because you started and I was like, oh, what? Nervousness? Where are we going? Yeah, you just have, like, a very grounding existence, and I feel like you have a very calming, like, your voice is both very powerful. A1, very powerful and very grounding. Like, it was like a perfect, like, palate cleanser to just be like, oh, this is a nice time. Like, it's nice to be here, isn't it? Yeah. So this whole thing where you're saying that you used to, I kind of want to go back in time a little bit.
To 11-year-old.
Maybe forwards in time a little bit. So you're saying that this was the first performance where it's just you, a cappella, no band, no nothing. And before that, you used to, you maybe still do, write for people, work with a band.
Yeah.
What's that like? What's that part of your life like?
As in the working with other people?
Yeah. So what is it that you do? How do you frame yourself? How do you work with others?
So, yeah, it's pretty amazing, to be fair. I think I've always been blessed. So because I've come from choirs and like musical sort of environments, I've always just had really talented friends who have just been amazing.
Yeah.
And so I went to uni with a friend who makes amazing music, and she just was like, I remember she just said, hey, I would really love your vocals on one of my songs, like backing vocals. And I was like, oh, that sounds fun. That sounds really cool. Yeah, I'll do it. And it kind of started from there. And then it was kind of like friends would just be like, hey, go into the studio, like, do you want to come? And I'd be like, yeah. And then sort of sit at the back and not really say anything. And then when I sort of could hear something that maybe didn't sound quite, not right, or maybe I could hear something that maybe could help the song or could kind of change it a little bit, I would kind of be like, oh, I think we should do it like this. And then that was kind of taken on board. And then it sort of earned me some like nice credits where like maybe they wouldn't have been there before. And it kind of evolved from that, really. So it's been really cool.
It's like these bursts of confidence where you're like, oh, like what I'm saying is valid and right.
Yeah.
Like, it is right. Yeah, that's really cool.
To be fair, like, I feel like I've seen your credits somewhere relating to PVC. Am I correct?
I don't.
Because I think there was PVC introducing. I think while I was doing the research, I was like, okay, I don't see much over here. There's no on Instagram, looking everywhere. It's like, all right, are these your credits on these songs, like songwriter or some sort of involvement?
I don't know if the songs were put on BBC Introducing. They might have been, but I'm not entirely sure.
Oh, right, okay.
Maybe. I don't know.
So nonchalant.
So blasé, yeah.
Well, I don't know. I know some of the songs have done quite well, but I don't know if they've been through Introducing.
Right, okay.
Maybe one of the artists was in like on Introducing, but I don't think it was the song I wrote on.
All right, okay.
But one of the artists was on there. If that makes sense. So that's not me being nonchalant. That's me being like, I don't know. I actually don't know.
Okay, when you were at uni, what were you studying?
Okay, this is a funny one. So actually, I didn't actually study music. I studied English literature.
Nice.
With drama.
Very nice. Yes. Very nice performance.
Yeah. And then I majored in creative writing.
That's very cool.
And I realized like towards the end, I was like, oh, I need to write. Like that's what I like to do. The sort of creative writing aspect. That was my niche. And then I kind of stuck with that.
Yeah.
What was the point when you realized that bit about creative writing? Like what were you writing at that point?
It was poetry.
Lovely. And was it poetry about yourself? Like what was that like in uni? Because uni's this weird place of like figuring yourself out and stuff. Like was that?
Well, I had a really cool teacher called Andy Eaton, this Canadian guy.
Shout out.
He's really cool, and he was very calm. And I remember I'd never experienced poetry like that before, not in a sort of academic sense. It was so, obviously uni was such a sort of strict like binary code of like, oh, you do this is your assignment, boom, like done. But with him, it was very free. And I remember being like, poetry is fun, and poetry can be a job and a thing you do. Like I didn't really know that before. I kind of was just very like, oh, poets are like people that have existed and now they don't exist anymore. That's what was my idea of it. And I learned a whole new world of it. I learned, I discovered people like Claudia Rankin, who wrote Citizen. She mainly writes racial poems, and I kind of, that are incredible. And when I read her stuff, I just realized, wow, I want to do this. I want to kind of speak about this stuff and speak about my experience in a very, very personal way, like she has. And that's when I sort of figured it out.
Was it always your plan to perform a song and a poem?
No, actually, it wasn't.
Okay.
It wasn't, but I was asked to.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah. I was asked to.
That's nice.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
It's really cool, yeah, because I'd never done a song at this performance like before. I've performed at a few pull-ups. I've done, I think maybe 4 or 5 now. And I've only done poetry, but I said I wanted to try a song. And then, it was asked, oh, can you do a poem and a song? And I thought, wow,
I can do that.
I can do that. And I was like,
give me a second.
I was like, let me just get my guitar ready. And then when I asked like, oh, have people done that before? The answer was no, it's never been done before. So I felt pretty good that that's like no one has ever done a poem and a song before.
Very, very cool.
Yeah.
All right.
It's also, I do think it's like really surprising of you, because you give off an energy of someone who's like very comfortable and confident in their craft, which you definitely are. But I think it's always interesting, especially for an audience of people who maybe are performers but just have never done it. You know, they're kind of like performing just to themselves.
Yeah.
I think it's really nice to hear that people who are performing and maybe have credits on BBC Introducing, but actually don't know if they have. You know, like maybe it's interesting to still hear that like people like you still have the anxieties and things like that. I also think it's really nice to hear that you figured out what it is that you like at uni. I think that's quite a thing people hope happens, and sometimes it doesn't necessarily happen all the time. So I think that's really cool to hear. Where are you from? Are you from Manchester?
No.
Okay. Thought I'd just double check that. I was like, you don't sound like from around here.
Yeah, from around these parts, are you?
How are you in Manchester? Like, what is that? What's that journey?
Thank you.
So I actually, oh yes, please. So I have no connection to Manchester like at all. Like I didn't come to uni here. I didn't do anything like that. I literally it was just after lockdown. I had just quit my job and I was like not really doing anything. I was just at home, right, with my mum. And I was kind of like, nothing is happening. Like, but I need stuff to happen.
Yeah.
And then my friend said, hey, like, why don't you move to Manchester?
And I said, okay.
And I said, I actually don't have anything going on, so I will.
Yeah.
And then I did, and it was a really good like move because, and I applied for 2 jobs in Manchester and then got both of them and was like, this is a sign I should be here. Kind of thing. Yeah.
Right.
From where? Dare we ask?
So I grew up in London, North London, Palmer's Green, and then I moved to Hertfordshire, which is like quite far out. Like it's considered Zone 8 in London.
We're so Mancunian that we're
I didn't even know what that is. It's like
Londoners argue that it's not London. Is it that? Is it like that?
Yeah. It's not London.
Okay.
To put into consideration, to put into consideration, like Euston.
Yeah.
Euston.
That's a good starting
Euston?
point. Yes, Euston.
Or like Central London is considered Zone 1.
Yeah.
So zone 8.
So the further you
Zone
go,
8.
Pretty far out.
Yeah.
Mooch is away. Yeah.
But yeah, not London, but like, you know, on the outskirts. And so kind of not much was going on. You know, if I lived still in like London, I'd probably be more inclined to stay there. But I think living on the outside, I was kind of like, there's nothing really going on.
Yeah.
And she was like, I've got a place in the city centre and we can figure it out. And I was like, let's figure it out.
That's nice.
That sounds dope.
Yeah.
Just got to be.
Because aren't we all, innit?
Yeah.
Whatever, like in whatever move you're doing, even if you've not moved from where you are from, or if you're not moving currently.
And then there's me just hopping
I
around.
know.
Just hopping around.
I feel like everyone's still just in a state of trying to figure out.
Yeah.
That's really
What's your preference between the two cities?
Ooh. I do really like Manchester for what it's given me, like in this journey of like figuring stuff out. And also just, I love that Manchester is a walkable city. That's my favorite thing about Manchester. Like in London, it's impossible to get to one place in less than an hour, really. It just wastes your time. It eats into it. You know, we could have never done what we did tonight, like different locations like this. We couldn't have done that. It would have been like a 3-hour excursion.
And I hate
it would be.
It
would be.
We would have just cancelled like, hey, yo, it ain't happening.
Well, that's what I used to do. I used to cancel a lot because of the exhaustion of trying to get to one place. Whereas here, I don't really have that. I can walk places or jump on the tram. It's very easy, and I think it allows for me to sort of have a community aspect. Whereas sometimes I feel a little bit more lonely in those kind of cities because it is harder to reach people. So I do like that aspect of it, that I'm always surrounded by people.
Because this is like it adds to my mental argument of like the north and the south, not in terms of like a standard argument, but in terms of like creative scenes. Because like there's always something happening in London. Like there's always something you could be getting involved with, or like a collective over here, or there's something happening on an exhibition, or like there's always something. And then I kind of just like look at the map and I'm like, oh yeah. And I think about the tube and I'm like, oh yeah. And then I think, imagine like, oh yeah, everything's 20 minutes away. Maybe the events aren't as frequent or whatever, even though they kind of are. Like there are a lot
you just gotta look around.
We're getting there.
We're getting there. Listen to this Yeah, this is nice. We are getting there.
I'm one of you.
Welcome. Yeah, that's really nice.
It is. I'd say Manchester's definitely up and coming. Like that's kind of how I feel about it. Like more companies are moving here, more stuff is happening. People are kind of getting the memo. And things are slowly sort of coming up, which feels really cool to be a part of.
This sounds like we're like sponsored by
like
the local council. This local council. But it's true. I feel like you can put your feet into the ground. The ground's still moving. So if you're trying to like plant yourself somewhere, like it's quite easy to be like, I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna take up this space. And that's what I'm gonna do. Nice, go Manchester.
So have you released any of your own music?
Oh, I haven't yet.
Because?
Well, you know, I mentioned about doing stuff for other people. So yes, you can find my backing vocals and my songwriting on other people's tracks, but you can't find my music because I'm yet to release it. But I would. That's my goal.
Do you have a backlog of it? Like, do you have your own music?
I've got
Are you sitting on
bedroom
a lot?
artist?
I'm sitting bedroom pop. I am sitting on some stuff. Yeah.
Are you?
Yeah.
Wow.
There's a hard drive.
Okay.
So when's the EP coming out?
Yeah. So what do we?
That's what I'm working on. Yeah.
So you haven't set a date yet?
No, just I'm getting everything to where I feel comfortable, and then everything else will fall into place.
Because you've worked with. Sorry, were you going to ask a question? No,
go on.
Okay. Because you've worked with like a range of different artists who will have a range of different budgets and like a range of different like facilities to be able to produce albums of varying standards. Do you think that's impacted what you think is like your standard ready to drop? Like what's the block that's in front of you that kind of has like paused this drop of the hard drive?
Otherwise we're going to just mix it up. The hard drive next is like, wait, is that my voice?
What's the impact of working with these other artists that had on your own journey?
I suppose. I think it's just the sort of, I think it's the the standards I have for myself maybe are a little bit too high, and that's maybe putting me off a little bit. Like I think because it's something that I care about so much, you know, it's like my one true love. I think that I do tend to put a lot of emphasis on it. Yeah. And I can be a little bit, dare I say the word, perfectionist.
Dun, dun, dun.
I know we're allergic to that word.
I
know it's the worst word ever, but it is sometimes how things go when I'm hearing stuff. I'm like, oh, that's not quite how I pictured it in my head, kind of thing. So that is, I would say that's a mental block. And then also, yeah, just the sort of sometimes imposter syndrome coming in, being like, you're not talented enough. And that can sometimes be like, okay, let me just stop.
Yeah.
Okay. I was about to say, how do you deal with it?
But then I always come back. Come back. Yeah.
Okay. Do you not think having a set date is actually going to push you towards it rather than waiting for the comfort?
Absolutely. Yeah. Okay. I would say so.
Because like there's a few artists that I know that have waited for that, I guess the perfection. But then it's like, what does perfection look like?
I've realized that perfection doesn't exist. I know that now. I think what's more important to me is to try and like be as real as I can with what I'm trying to say. So that's kind of what I'm pushing for now. Like trying my best to like figure out what is like me through a piece of work.
Is that what inspired the poem you performed then?
Yeah, I would say so. That was like me in stanza form.
Okay.
Like I couldn't, there was nothing in there that wasn't like part of me.
Yeah. Do you want to tell us about that?
Yeah. So I suffered with a chronic illness situation like last year. I was like rushed into hospital with lupus. Don't know if we know much about lupus, but
not until you performed.
And
I was like, I know more now.
I feel like I've heard of it in the Bible somewhere. Wait a minute. Oh, yeah, tell us more.
That was what inspired it. I mean, the first lines of the lupus, no one knows anything about you. And that was because that's a conversation that I've had again and again and again with people about it. That's the first thing people kind of say, like, oh, I don't really know about that thing, which is kind of almost like ironic to me that people don't really know about it because of how kind of detrimental it can be to health and to kind of, it can just affect your life in a way that you could never imagine. So it kind of angered me and shocked me and made me feel all the feels that no one really knew about it. But then I also didn't know about it before I had it. So and
then suddenly you knew everything.
Yeah. Exactly. And I kind of wanted to tie in like loads of different things. Like I wanted it to be an educational piece for people. So if you never knew anything about it, you could listen to the poem and be like, I know one more thing than I knew about this. And now if any of my friends kind of have a symptom that is similar to this, I will be able to say like, hey, it might be this, or kind of direct them, which could be helpful. And then also kind of, I wanted to show the lighter side of it and kind of add some funny anecdotes. Yeah,
because you personified it in a way.
Yeah, and I added in like the celebrity tiles, like Seal and Selena Gomez and all these people, because it's important that we can kind of relate to stuff, I think, through like pop culture references and stuff like that. Usually kind of triggers something in people's brains where they're like, oh yeah, I do remember that article. I remember seeing that. Like it just kind of pieces it together, I think.
It's like just connect the dots even with people that might have not known that they had it or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, so like what triggered it? Because I am clueless, if I'm being honest.
Well, no one really knows like what triggers it. Yeah. It's just one of those, it's one of those things where it could literally be anything.
Okay.
So how long was this like post moving to Manchester?
Quite a while, because I moved just after lockdown. And then this was just last year. So a good like four and a half years or so after.
It was only last year?
Yeah.
Wow.
Mm.
Wow. Okay. And how are things now? Like, how does Lupus move? Like, what does it?
So
what does she do? Like, what does she want? Like, how are you like with this now?
So it's an autoimmune disease. So essentially, it's like your cells are attacking the good cells in your body. So it thinks that your body is in danger. So it attacks the like cells that are actually
it releases the antibodies.
Exactly, yeah. So I have to take like immunosuppressants, and I have to take medication essentially for the rest of my life. And I've had treatment. So I had chemo like last year, the end of last year, to like treat it, but it doesn't get rid of it. It's not something that will ever like leave my system. Or so the doctors say, but I'm a little bit spiritual, so I believe that.
Good for you.
Yeah. I believe something else.
Yes.
But like, yeah, so it's kind of that thing that just stays in your system, but it can be managed with certain things.
Yeah.
Like there are things you can do, like anti-inflammatory diet, no smoking, no drinking. There's loads of stuff that can help with it, you know. But it is essentially something that doesn't like leave.
Yeah. You're right. Sounds a bit cancer adjacent, because I guess cancer is uncontrollable cell growth and then doesn't leave, but it can be cleared somehow, some way. All right. And
I like your attitude towards it, though. I think that so I have people in my life who've also have autoimmune disease or live with chronic illness. Then I have two people in my brain. I'm obviously not going to speak about, but I have two people in my brain who have also been told like, you're gonna have this forever, and this is gonna be something you live with, and they're really similar to you, and they're like, all right, this is what you're telling me, but like I don't see how you telling me this is supposed to be like a useful thing to plant into my brain right now. And so I really like that you also have that attitude of like, okay, that's one thing, and you're not dismissing that. But what you're saying is like, I may think adjacently to what you just said, because that can be like a giant boost. And I feel like the people in my life who have very similar things to what you're discussing, they have better lives just because in their minds they're not like a prisoner to whatever this is. They're kind of like, you know what, like I'm gonna do my best.
And
I'm just gonna take each day as it comes. And so like I just have, maybe I think empathy is the right word. It's like I don't think it's useful to like, oh, I feel sorry for you for this, but like empathy towards you, and also really like I think it's really amazing to be sat with someone who has this energy like oozing out of them. It's super positive, and it's really like it's a contagious attitude to have. I really like that. Good for you. Because doctors can say some shit, and then if you believe that, then all of a sudden you're just crumbling now.
Of course, Well, I think that's one option that I have. I was literally speaking to my friend about this the other day. Like in my mind, I'm not ill. That's just how I see it. I'm not ill because I'm healthy. You know, like I can go outside, like I can smell the fresh air. Like I'm so privileged in what I have. And I kind of just like lean into that. You know, I'm so lucky that I can literally get up and go outside. That's something I think about every day. Because when I was ill, when I was in hospital, I was bedbound. Like I couldn't move because lupus like affects your joints. So it's like a little bit like arthritis, like in the physical pain. Like I couldn't move. I couldn't like go downstairs. I was in a wheelchair. Like, so I think to go from that and then to be how I am now, I don't, that's not an option to me to kind of feel scared because right now I see light and I see happiness. So I'm kind of just like oozing off that, and that's the high that I'm riding.
More power to you.
Do you know what I mean? That's the high I'm riding.
Because most people don't wake up feeling grateful.
You know
what I mean?
And
like most people, the gratitude that you're seeing right now comes from perspective. People don't have any perspective on like, I wonder what it would be like if I couldn't actually move right now. Like most people are like, it's raining again. I'm livid. It's like, what?
That was me. That was me for a while. That was me. I've been all of those people, I think. But yeah, you're right. Perspective is the biggest thing that does sometimes just like change something in you. Like I always say, like I'm different to how I was before. Because I've seen things that probably no person in their 20s would see. Like I was like the youngest person in the ward, and I was in a ward with like all old ladies, and I was the youngest person there, and they were just like, wow, like it's quite rare to see lupus this bad in someone so young. So like, I think I experienced what maybe like being very old and ill feels like,
Yeah.
you know, because I was around it.
Yeah.
I was around that. So I was just like, oh, okay. I've experienced like that sort of life, and you do have a choice, I think, because even being old is a mindset. Like, you know, that's how I see it. I'm just very like, okay, cool. You can be 90, you can still go to yoga on a Sunday. And still get up and go for your walk.
Very few of them do, but some of them do.
Yeah, I was just going to say, you can offer some people.
Yeah, the perspective is a fascinating thing that you have right now. And again, I think that's what also potentially helps you as an artist, as well as having this perspective and being able to conquer fear more than most people can. Like, it's no small thing to stand up and, whether it's poetry, performing music, or both of those things, I think let's not underestimate like how terrifying that is. Like, I don't know how you'll do it. I draw my letters and just place them elsewhere. Do you know what I mean? See ya.
I just play with the camera and then it's like,
yeah, it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing.
So what's your plan with the poetry? Are you gonna release a book, or are you just gonna continuously perform in it?
Yeah, I've been like planning a small anthology that I want to release, and it's basically about my experiences like growing up. Sort of, I was raised like by a completely English family, and obviously I'm not completely English, and that.
What does that mean?
What
is this cryptic? What are you?
What are you implying right now?
Let's get to the bottom of this. As in, I'm half Nigerian, half English, but I was only raised by my English family.
Okay.
So that obviously was that was an experience growing up, just being different to everyone else, and sort of how I learned life through that lens and stuff. And so a lot of my poems, obviously the one I performed was about the lupus, but usually my poems are about race and about my experience about race. So my anthology is going to be sort of that in a collection of essays about what it was like sort of growing up with that.
All right. Okay.
When you're writing this poetry, who are you speaking to?
I'm kind of speaking to my younger self, who didn't really have a way to express how she felt.
Okay. Oh, that's so nice. So do you kind of like speak in a more almost like childlike way, or are you speaking in like are you kind of speaking in a softer, like, is your tone quite soft? Is your tone quite, what's the attitude? Is it like annoyed? Are you, because I'm guessing like what you face is a lot of anger, a lot of annoyance, like a lot of stuff will be inside you that's kind of negative, but like very valid. But if you're speaking to your younger self, do you speak in a tone which is
maybe I'll change that. Not speaking not speaking to my younger self, speaking for my younger self.
Nice. Okay. It's totally different.
Speaking, because when you just said that, then I was like, oh, actually it's for my younger self, because the way I write is not for a child to understand. It's for adults who should know better to understand.
Okay. So now you have the words that you didn't have as a child. You're saying all the things.
Exactly.
Oh, baby self.
Right.
Yeah, that's so nice. Have you ever thought about speaking to children? Because I know there'll be so many kids who still don't have the words, whereas you kind of have those words. Have you ever kind of thought about that format of like speaking to children?
No, but thanks
You're
for
welcome.
that.
I just think you're like a very empathetic, very soft human. Who you also shouldn't fuck with. I just get this kind of vibe from you. I just feel like you have something which I think, I don't know.
I'm laughing because that's not the first time I've heard that. So many people say that. They're like, I love you, but I wouldn't want to get on your bad side.
Absolutely not. So soft, so gorgeous. What a performer, what an artist. Don't fuck with you there. But like,
don't get too comfortable.
No, don't get too comfortable. But like,
but get comfortable, just not too comfortable.
I feel like kids need that. Like someone who's in their corner.
Kind of like a teacher, but at the same time.
But that's learned experience.
Yeah.
that is that learned experience. That's that, like, because when you are a child, you are, you know, so, as you should be, naive and just optimistic about the world. And then there are unfortunately people that may sort of take advantage of that.
Yeah.
So I think, yeah, there is that kind of element of me that is like very protective over certain things and people I care about. And,
And it's a good thing.
Yeah.
In this world right now, that's a good thing. Like, I hope you took it in a good way.
I
Because,
really did. I love that.
Really is a good thing. I think anyone walking around without that energy that just like bounces off them a little bit, I don't know, you're easy target, man.
Yeah.
I just think you kind of need to have that. It's like very sharp, very gentle knives. Just, do you know what I mean? Just out of my way. I don't know. Like,
Just
I just
a little
think there's
sharpen.
like, it'd be really interesting to see what you do in a format where it's like for younger people. I don't know. I just think they need to hear from you.
Yeah. I would love that. I wouldn't have even thought about that. But now you said that, some of my favorite books do have sort of children or child versions of the book. Like, there's a book called I think it was it's about the brain. It's like we all have 3 brains: computer brain, monkey brain, and one other brain. I can't remember, but essentially it's that. But it's like, that is a book for adults, and then they have a children's book where you can kind of follow along and learn about it, because it's a very scientific book. So it's sort of very like simplified. So it's funny you said that, because I've never thought about doing it, but some of my favorite books are in that format where they have both.
Yeah.
So I'm like, maybe I should test out and see what would come about.
Because the poem you performed was like, you educated an entire room of adults.
But with humor as well.
Yeah.
And being able to relate. And also
pop culture references, like, it's just...
pique the curiosity as to, wait, what? Okay. Oh, that's...
It was a very balanced thing, and I feel like you could definitely just turn to the thing and just do both of them. Anyway,
yeah.
I massively digress. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, thank you, because I'm actually gonna look into that. So super helpful.
Anytime.
You good?
Hey, each one teach one.
Great podcast, great career advice.
I mean,
that's what we do over here. Oh, sorry. Yes.
I mean,
what's your favorite piece of work? Whether that's like a track that you've been a part of, it's a performance you're a part of, it's something you've written. What's your favorite thing that you produced? Like, what are you most proud of?
Favorite thing. Ooh, no, it's good. Let me just go into the archive, because I'm trying to think.
There's hard drives.
It's got the hard drive.
Favorite thing.
Such a hard question. I feel like I just throw these questions at people, like, answer it.
It's like, can you answer it?
No, I can't answer that question. I don't know.
Yes, see, that's why I'm asking, because of my
answer. Like,
if someone flipped it at me, shit.
I made a lot of stuff.
We bought you some time. Are you getting there? It's still flicking through.
You can do top 3 if you want.
Yeah, I think there are a couple, but I think that in terms of poetry, let's start there maybe. The first poem I ever performed, I thought that was like something that I was extremely proud of, because of how it came about. It came about through, like we were speaking about earlier, like sort of anger and feeling very let down by situations and people, and even times with family and stuff like that. So it was sort of a series of events that kind of came about through that. And I tied in my kind of love for words and language. Like, it's called Words, and it's
nice.
Yeah.
She likes words.
Nice. I love words.
Same words.
And it's about sort of the beauty of words, but the danger as well, and how quickly they can become hurtful and evil. And I think that, and I tried to do it in a way that was sort of gentle but harsh. And I think that I was really proud of it. And I remember that what inspired it was, like, I'd just left my house, and in the basically the building where I live, there's like security that walk like left to right of the building, and the security guard of the building like came out to like see me because he saw me on the CCTV. Bear in mind, I've lived there for like a year. And he came out and he was like, oh, sorry, I saw you on the CCTV and I thought there was like an intruder. Like we're trying to keep the building safe. And that's how the poem like began. And it was that anger of the situation of like, I've lived here for a year.
Yeah.
How are you thinking I'm some hooligan hanging around the front?
It's probably just spotted melanin.
Like,
I mean,
and I was so angry.
speculation.
And this guy was so rude. Like he used to say stuff like, oh, you look like a basketball player. You look like Michael Jordan. Because I used to wear basketball shorts and he'd be like, you look like Michael Jordan. Things like that. It was just like,
God.
The diamonds.
Right?
Jesus Christ.
I literally know what he looks like. I can see him. I can smell him.
Yeah.
And it was like, how do in moments like that, I love like being able to kind of, I would never really direct my anger towards the person because I think that's a waste of my energy, but I'll put it into the art, into anywhere I can. So that was a proud moment for me where I was like, oh, this is how I can put that anger into something. And when I was writing it, like I felt like I was like burning because it was like just coming out of me and it felt so natural. So that was something I was really proud of. And then in terms of music, I feel really proud of a project that I worked on for a friend, this amazing artist called Nicola Gaia, and she got funding from Mobo to like do her EP.
Nice.
So we rented a cottage in the middle of nowhere.
Nice. Sounds familiar.
Nice. And we just spent the weekend just making music. And again, I was doing that thing that I mentioned where I was helping with the harmonies and the backing vocals, and we wrote a song together, like on the spot, just in the dead of the night,
always
with a bit of wine and good conversation, and it was pretty magical. And I think that was super spontaneous, and then what came out of it was something really amazing. But I think that was just me trusting my intuition, trusting like that what I was saying and what I was doing was right. And I think that really showed me like, okay, cool. This is something that I feel really good when I'm doing. So like that's the most important thing that I need to remember.
That's quite dope that you can create, I guess, from anger and then from just straight up vibes. However, from the creation from anger, did it elevate anything after you wrote that, or did you then see him the next day and be like, I'm cool now, I wrote about it, you're right?
Yeah, I think so. I think I was literally like, you're not even worth my sadness anymore.
Oh, sorry.
But it was like I literally saw him the next day, and he said something again, like went over my head. I think because I was able to get it out. So I wasn't like, oh, I'm so angry at you. Like I was just like, I almost like smiled at him because I was like, oh my gosh, I've written an amazing poem off the back of you being rude. You know,
well,
like
you look like Michael Jordan, like thank you.
You know, it sounded extra funny that day. Like so yeah.
That's nice answers. That's nice answers. Artists need to do more retreats, you know.
Yeah.
Just all the time. Let's just go somewhere.
Yeah.
And to just get away somewhere where it's like, oh my God, because you breathe through my nose beautifully and everything smells nice and everything. That's time, that space to just be away from it is something, and it's so sad that it needs funding. Like it needs, like you have to be able to be in some sort of privileged position to be able to even do that, to take the time to go and do your art form. I think any artist making work currently in this day and age, who doesn't have this financial privilege of being like, oh, I'm just going to escape and go. Kudos to them, man, because it's that's what we need, is that solitude where you can just think. So to make it in this chaos, I think that's amazing. So shout out to anyone who's making art currently, because the streets are cold, man. Like,
and I think there are ways to do it that are sort of kind of. There are ways to do it without finances, but you have to be very, very sort of careful about it. Almost like there are ways that you can sort of do like a weekend away in the country. That's something I like to do. So like go, or like even local, like you know, like a train away or something, I do find that they're pretty helpful to kind of like get away. I think, like you said, your environment, your immediate environment isn't always the most helpful place.
Yeah.
Even if you like make your home super vibey, it's still somewhere that you're going to associate with like the stress of life and all of this stuff. So it can be helpful to sort of try and step away, even if it's your local park or something, like somewhere different to where you sleep.
It's good advice.
Yeah.
It's really good advice. It's a really nice reminder as well. It's like, even when you say it, I'm like, oh yeah,
just go outside.
Oh yeah, because in my mind I'm like, I need a 3-day retreat. Like I need to be.
I mean, that's also nice.
I want to be in the middle of somewhere. I want to be in a big house. I just want to be somewhere that's beautiful. Yeah, just go somewhere just for the day.
Because like other towns will have. Even like I went to Stretford the other day because my friend lives there, and like the parks around there are really nice. Like they're very green.
Shout out Stretford Park.
Shout out Stretford. Stretford massive. And like that was nice because I was like, oh, it feels like a holiday, you know, because it was just a change of scenery and so I think making holidays of like your area can be a fun little way. And that's something they speak about in, you know, that book, The Artist's Way. They speak about like taking yourself on artist dates. And it's like, whether it's like the cinema or a local park, whatever, but it's like somewhere different that you normally wouldn't go.
Yeah.
You'd never think of going here. Like you wouldn't just be like, oh yeah, I'm going here. Like you go there.
Yeah.
And then you write and you sit down. And I think that's something I've been like trying to challenge myself to do lately. It's just like, try your best with no budget to go and find somewhere that you've never been before.
It's a nice challenge. Like we're artists, isn't it?
Yeah.
Be creative.
Yeah.
Solve the creative problem. That's really nice.
So like, how do you deal with the imposter syndrome then? If you're frequently working with other people, how do you like get over that? Because to speak up about your taste or what you think, because essentially music is really taste. And it's just hoping that other people like your taste, if you know what I mean. So how do you navigate the imposter syndrome?
I actually find it easier with other people, which is why I've kind of done it for longer. Because to me, it's not my project. So, but because it's not like completely mine. I don't have that like ownership of it where I'm just like, it has to be perfect. Like I don't feel that.
Right, okay.
And I kind of feel like, you know, oh, this is really cool and it's slightly different and I can hear things I wouldn't normally hear. It almost feels as if my ears are like listening to a different
or less
song.
critical.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's what it is. Less critical, basically. Because it's super easy for me to just be like, yeah, this sounds right. This doesn't sound right. Let's change this. Boom. But then when it's me sitting down with just my headphones on, I'm just like, I don't like any of it.
No, like you should release it so you can let go of it. And also I think just an extent, it's
sorry, I'm just relating to what you're saying so heavily. I know exactly. I teach graphic design as a graphic designer. Talking to students about their work is the easiest thing in the world. I know exactly what's wrong with it. Immediately, I know how to change it, how to fix it, how to whatever.
Hope your students ain't
sit down with I know how to fix your work. And this is how confident I am. I sit into the lens. My own work. Exactly what you're saying. I get it. Sit down with it. It's like, I don't know how to graphic design. I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
What is that?
Yeah.
What is that?
And
just super critical.
It's so annoying because because actually I went to a songwriting retreat like about like 2 years ago, which was really like life-changing, I'd say, just to be around loads of different artists and seeing how they work. And someone actually said to me, she was like, I can't do sessions alone because I'm too critical. She was like, I have to be accountable, so I do them with other people. And she was like, that's just how I work. It's always how I've been. And that's my process. And I was like, wow. I was like, I didn't even know that was an option. And I was like, what? You can do that? And I have found that, how I try to help with my imposter syndrome is I try to make sure I always have a session booked with someone else, like around it, even if it's not to work on that particular song. Because I think it's funny how my critic comes out so loudly when I'm with myself, but not with other people. So it can kind of be helpful. Like I did a session with my friend the other day and she was just like, oh, I don't know if I like it. Like, it doesn't sound right. And And I was like, it's fine. I was like, even if we hate it, like, this is all advice I should be saying to myself. I was like, it's fine, even if we hate it, we're just creating. Let's just create for fun. Let's just have fun. Let's just have fun. And then I was able to, on my next session alone, be like, let me just create for fun.
Yeah.
Because I'd said that to my friend, I was like hearing it and being like, when I heard that critical voice, I was like, Holly, just create for fun. Just create. Who cares if it sucks? Who cares, right? So it's like, it can be helpful to have that time with other people and then be like, oh, okay, cool. Because I think we are meanest to ourselves when we're alone.
Yeah.
Because we don't have that voice. We don't have that other friend, that gentle friend that goes, hey, don't say that about yourself. That's really mean.
I feel like I'm the opposite, you know.
Do you?
Yeah.
Lucky for you.
No. Wait, time out. No. Because there's a drawback too. Because for me, it's almost like when I'm on my own. I mean, I think we're talking about it in the car. But like, I'm comfortable on my own, so I feel like I'm less critical of myself if I'm on my own. However, if then it's like, all right, cool, now it's time to play that video that I just made, and it's like, oh, that's when I'm like, oh crap. Now I'm thinking like, oh, why did I do that?
You do that.
Why? Yeah,
you do that.
Otherwise, that's why I prefer doing it on my own in my own space. I'm comfortable with that. As soon as I release it or send it, I've detached from it. Yeah. I've had fun. It's like essentially me packing my bags and going home.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
So when are you critical of the stuff?
When other people are around and watching it with me.
Oh, okay. So
you do this thing where you'll have your laptop out or you'll have workout and you'll be showing something. Not often, but sometimes, and you'll be showing something, and that you don't stay sat down, you stand up, and you'll like stand ever so slightly behind, and then you kind of like, oh yeah, well, like, yeah, I hear it now. I see you do that. You kind of like watch it as though you're watching it through someone else's.
I feel like
eyes.
once the crowd is here, the perspective is a little bit different, and that's why I'm more critical. So it's almost
yeah. But it's kind of good because it means you can your like work rate is staggering.
Yeah.
Actually, like your output is crazy because you just do it.
Yeah.
Whereas we sit there with this internal monologue, like, I don't like this. I don't think this is good. Yeah. Whereas you just kind of do the thing and then.
Yeah, I would prefer it that way round.
Yeah.
Yeah, but sometimes I feel like it heightens the imposter syndrome when other people are around, especially when there's some people, I guess, you deem, oh yeah, they're really sick. And then you watch and you're like, oh, why did I do that?
But it's already done.
But it's already done.
Exactly.
Yeah, you've done it. Like, that's the point. I think that's the thing. If I had a little bit less of that beforehand, even after, I wouldn't even mind because I'd just be like, well, it's done now, isn't it?
Yeah.
I've released it, so who cares?
And see, that's where I love that element. Not that I hate myself, but I like that in the sense of it helps me. It helps me move on to the next thing. Some would say maybe I rush the finishing part. I don't know. But as soon as it's done, it's like, get out of my sight. I'm on to the next one. Yeah. But when I watch with other people, I feel like that's when I actually learn more about it. It's like watching their reactions, like, oh, okay, maybe that didn't hit as much as I thought. Or is that the part, that I know I did something dope. Did they catch it? Why did they caught it? Okay, I did something, they got this, or they didn't. Like, it's...
I got you. Yeah. And I suppose that's the part of the art that is kind of irrelevant.
Yeah.
In a way.
Exactly, yeah.
Because like, that's sort of, I would like to feel more like that. And I think that does come with like trusting yourself and trusting like what you're doing is good. Because like, even who was saying it? I think it was like Childish Gambino was saying like, was it Childish Gambino? Yeah, it was when he did the This Is America. You know, everyone was making those videos like, what does it mean? And like video essays, like long videos.
And the white horse, what was this?
All of this. Yeah. And Childish Gambino was like, they were like, what does it mean? He was like, I don't know. He was like, whatever you want it to mean. Like, it's not my job to tell you what it means. That's your job to figure it out.
I did it.
He was like, I did it. Now what? Like, that's, and I think that is kind of the best way to see it, is to just be like, you make the thing, you're happy with it, release it, it's done. Like, everything else is irrelevant because everything else is not part of like you.
Yeah.
Because art is meant to be just you, isn't it? It's not meant to have any really like input from other people. maybe people you trust, like fine, maybe they can have like a thought or like a consideration, but really like at the core of it, it's meant to be who you are.
Yeah.
So anything else doesn't really make sense, because there's a reason you did certain things for like that way.
Yeah.
Even if someone else is like, why is that there?
It's like, hey, to be honest, that's a boo-boo. I didn't know how to fix it, so I thought, fuck it.
Yeah.
Sorry, mama. You know how it goes. But yeah.
Yeah.
Huh, that's quite interesting. You don't imposter syndrome, what's that?
Oh, I imposter syndrome sometimes. She's quiet though these days. Shut up, man. Like, we made peace a long time ago. It's like, jabba, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, I don't really care. But like, I don't really class myself. It's weird. In my brain, I'm not an artist. I'm a designer.
Oh, okay.
So like in my head, I'm always designing with the viewer or with the other person on the receiving end in mind.
Is it like you're designing in terms of you've got a brief in mind? It's almost like I've met the brief.
Yeah, but like the brief can be like a self-initiated brief where it's like, I want to do this, or I want people to feel like this, or I want to produce something that people can interact with. Like I like making it in things that humans can be like, oh, what's this? And I like that. I will never know their response to it. I don't collect the data. I don't want to know what they think, but I do design with the human in mind, which makes it easy to make decisions, because I'm like, what might they want? And it means you have to speak to a lot of humans to be like, how do humans human? And then you sit down to do it, and your inside human brain is like, I don't like it. I'm sorry. Sorry, I really don't have time for you right now. Like, just back off and let me just do my thing. And like drawing these little monster creatures is a really useful thing. Like having a thing you do to just get everything out of your brain and then do the task is like a really nice thing to do. So I feel like figuring out the thing that works for you takes years though. It takes years to figure out what your system is. And I still don't think I know. I've just got better at understanding it. So right now I have a system that I think works, and it's in terms of imposter syndrome, I literally don't have time to listen to her. Like I don't have time in the day to listen to what she's saying. Like just chill out, man.
So what are you listening to lately?
Ooh.
Or should I say, what's your track of the week?
We do track of the week.
Track of the week.
Or day or moment or first track that popped into your head. As soon as I say what's up, can be your song.
I've been I've been binging Yeba's Tiny Desk. So I listen to that start to finish almost every day. Because it's my medicine.
Same words.
I love her so much. I've been with her like from before, after the fame. Like I've been there. I've been there. And in terms of like actual track of the week, I've been. What was I even listening to?
It's a tricky question, isn't it? When you actually think, what have I been listening to? Sorry.
To be fair, I did binge of Mac Miller, Tiny Desk.
Yeah, that's a good one.
And all that's in my head right now is also Tiny Desks, Leanne Lahavis.
Yeah, same. I'm just
Leanne Lahavis. Leanne, what are we doing? I
do love Leanne Lahavis. She's cool.
I'm just going to pass by Mac Miller.
Absolutely. Leanne, I'm joking. The Max is amazing.
As in Miller Mac? Malcolm?
Oh, I know. His name's not Malcolm, is
it? Time again. What's your track?
My track of the week is probably it changes so much. What would I put on if I was listening to a song, if I just wanted to play a song?
It's a good way of doing it. I quite like that.
Yeah, if I just wanted to put on a song, I would probably put on The Beach by Sam Dosha.
I don't know that. And I really want to. Because your face right now is telling me how it makes you feel.
Zen. Yeah.
I'm assuming it's a different type of Zen from mine.
Yeah, I think we have different. When you put on your Zen playlist, I was like, oh,
this is Zen.
Zen means something different to me and you. And that's beautiful. That's fine.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Someone's gonna fuck with it at least and say, yep, that's feels Zen.
It's fine, it's cool.
It's okay. I'm fine with it. Okay.
Yeah. He's a cool artist. He's actually my friend, but he makes incredible music. And I think that when I heard this song, I was like, whoa, this is an incredible song. And that's why I like it.
And coming from you, and because I feel like I've heard your words enough now to know that you have an ear for things, and people trust you with that ear as well. And you have, I feel like you trust yourself with that ear as well. So the fact that you're like, whoa, to your friend, he's like, oh, okay, I need to know what this track is because I want to hear it too because I know it's good. Okay.
You know, when you're like someone that you know makes something and you're overwhelmed because you're like, wow, you made this. You, my friend, we have chats, we have lunch.
This
is you.
Yeah?
This is you. It's just overwhelming.
It's okay.
Yeah, and it's kind of song that like inspires me to want to make music, and I think that's always the best thing is like music. You know, when you hear something and you're like, now I will, or you see art or whatever, and you think, I want to now create.
Yeah.
That to me is like, that's the real gift.
Yeah.
It's like the best thing anyone can ever say to me. Like, if I do like a poetry performance, if I do a song performance, is like, hey, I now like want to go home and make some stuff. That's it. I've done what I need to do.
Someone took a nugget of it.
Someone took something and said, hey, that really spoke to me. And now I feel
borrow that seed.
That's what it's all about. That's the point of all of this.
Yeah.
That's the most important thing. So I think that when you hear something, you hear a little bit of yourself in it, you hear someone else, you hear, oh, I could maybe try this and do this. Like that to me is like quite magical. So I like songs that make me feel inspired because obviously if I'm having a moment of like block or moment of like feeling weird, sometimes things like that just like snap me back in.
Yeah.
Actually, something I should ask, or maybe now I'm curious. What pop do you write to? Or what label would you put on it? Is it like hip hop or kind of like R&B or
what my music?
Yeah.
I always say alternative R&B.
Okay.
That's the kind of the sort of the main way I'd say it. But obviously it does kind of flip between some kind of, it's a little bit folky sometimes, a little bit sort of neo soul-y. But mainly I would say my roots are in R&B, so I kind of stick with that.
Okay.
Like most of the chords I use are R&B and structurally, but then like emotionally maybe more indie.
Okay.
Sad girl music.
Okay.
Look, I feel like that is R&B.
Yeah,
Talking rhythm and blues. I'm not being funny. 2025, women are knocking it out of the park. I'm not being funny. I just feel like there is so much stigma. There's so much shit hitting the fan. I'm like, if anyone's writing bluesy, I'm just saying what I'm saying. I'm just saying. Yeah, nailed it. You're nailing it. Yeah.
I'm
saying that. And I wish you answered last as well. My answer's not as cool as yours.
Yeah, you might as well just get to it.
Kate Trinada, track Uno.
Oh yeah. Nice.
Something a little old school. It's been throwing me back to just a younger version of myself. Yeah. And she was cool, man. She was so cool. Wow. She didn't care. She didn't give a damn. She didn't fill up the car with petrol and buying nice forks. Do you know what I mean? Like, no, she was cool, man. She wasn't getting excited over like, oh, yeah, I've just found a new sponge to wash. But she was cool. This is an adult version of me, and she's cool too. But like, she was cooler, and she was listening to Kate Trinada track Uno, and so I've been listening to it too. Yeah, it's very nostalgic. Like that whole album is just super nostalgic.
It's so nostalgic.
Yeah, it's so good. Like that, from the album artwork to every single noise that I hear inside my ears. I just love the album so much, and I don't know where Kate Trinada is right now.
Have you seen Frank?
I
know, but Frank was like, deuces. Like Frank just did like a 3-song set at like Coachella or something.
Frank's in the studio.
Is he?
Is he?
Yeah, he released a snippet.
Is he? I beg your pardon?
When?
Yeah.
Frank's back. Okay.
Okay.
Thanks for that. Frank's back. Cool.
Okay. Anyways, we're gonna cut it here. We're gonna go listen to Frank.
He's cooking, guys.
All right. Okay.
Wow, Frank.
Yeah.
Okay.
It'd be good to see Frank. It's been a minute.
He's actually like my biggest influence in music, I would say.
Is he?
Yeah. I have to be careful because like
okay.
I have to be careful because like I don't want to like take too much of his influence, but he's just like, yeah, I would say like probably who I listen to the most in terms of like music and
that's quite cool. Because I can kind of hear that.
Yeah, and also James Fauntleroy, who was like a little bit before him, but essentially they're quite similar in like their voices and stuff. And he wrote like Fertilizer off Channel Orange, and
nice.
And James Fauntleroy is written for like everyone in R&B. Like he's like songwriter,
okay.
you know. So yeah, like that's my like my favorite kind of artist, really.
Okay.
So yeah,
that's nice.
Influence wise, love.
So Frank's cooking, you say?
He's cooking.
Because you would know. You would know.
Yeah, because he was like sort of linked to a UFC fighter.
Huh?
And then
Who?
You know Frank,
not that I
right?
know.
Who? Yeah, which
yeah, not that I know UFC fighters.
I kind of
All I
do,
can
you
think
know.
about who?
Who in UFC?
Yeah.
That guy with the beard, with the one eye, with the...
Not him.
I know that guy.
Yeah.
I think this guy was called Peyton Williams. He's like a pretty young, like really attractive UFC fighter, and then they were kind of linked. And then he was in the video of the snippet that was released.
Oof, I like when they just drop
Yeah.
Oh,
and
people went crazy. It was like, the lyrics were like, I read your diary every night. I want to taste your words like wine. That was it. And everyone went nuts.
That boy's fan is just...
Literally, that tiny little thing, that tiny little video, and everyone's like, we're ready. Release the song, baby.
And this is the crazy thing with music, isn't it? Is the rate at which it's binged is just like kind of exciting, but also terrifying. It's the same with like TV and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That you can drop like a whole series or something and people have binged it in a day. I just feel like should it be slower than this? Should it be more snippet, like breadcrumb? I don't know.
Well, I think that's the beauty of artists like that, is that they're making up the control of what they're comfortable with. Because I think, because even you would assume that an artist like Frank Ocean wouldn't work in this day and age, because everything is social media, right? So you would, because obviously with like labels and stuff, they're always like, you've got to post on TikTok. You've got to keep the momentum up, keep this, do this.
Can they dance to it? Is there a dance to it?
Right.
You want 120 BPM.
Exactly. And then there are artists that say, I'm not playing with that. I'm going to do it my way. And obviously those ones are the most desired because they are unattainable and you can't control them. So I think it's
like Tyler when he dropped his latest album now, Chromacopia, dropped it on like a Thursday because he was like, people are just commuting. He was like, I want to drop it on a day where people are just like going back and forth to work and stuff like that. And it's like, I don't know, like tiny little things like that where I'm like, that's even to consider that. I just think that's kind of quite like that.
Yeah. That's really, I didn't know that. That's
cool. It was nice to hear. I was like, you're just a human guy. That's quite cool.
Yeah, but to be fair, it speaks on them acknowledging the art itself. Because yes, you can create it and drop it willy-nilly. However, it's now remembering, oh wait, it is a business, and let me actually give it the respect.
Thinking of the audience, like just the audience has been considered in that. I quite like that.
Still.
What about you?
Oh, funny ask. I thought we were just going to end it there. Let's see. What was the song that came up first? Good Enough. I think I'll go with Good Enough, but at the same time, I was going to say Subs Home, because I've just been bumping Home. But then Home is dope. I'm just going to pick two songs, so I'll be that guy. Yeah, Home is just a dope track, and it's featuring words from Hugh I can't remember his last name. Masayalel. I'm saying it right. But yeah, it's about home and what happened or why families kind of broke up in terms of what he's talking about and where colonization, I guess, fucked things up to an extent. But it's a dope track though. And then the other one is Good Enough. Good Enough is it's a Joe Budden. Not many people listen to Joe Budden. I don't know why. I think he was ahead of his time. Anyways.
I have heard people say that.
Who? I might get along with them. Not many people.
Let me know where they live.
They need to exchange words about Joe.
I think he was like not really appreciated by like this generation, and like I feel like people like either really, really like his stuff or like, oh, like no.
Yeah. To be fair, he didn't really mix his music, which sometimes is like, Joe could have done better there, or pick a better beat because you've got words for days. But yeah, good enough. Good enough is a dope track because it's just like, I know I'm not good enough. However, one thing I know is I just want to be better. Better for who? Better for myself. I don't really give a beat too much about the exterior or outside influence. I just want to be better. Like it's not that deep. Even if someone thinks, blah, 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 oof, it's not good enough. Oh yeah, going back to imposter syndrome, blah, blah, blah. Oh yeah. Anyways, I just had a moment for myself.
It's a full rotation.
Yeah.
But yeah, yeah, those are the words I can say about that song.
Nice.
And yeah.
Good tracks of the week.
Thanks for tuning in. And if you did stick around this far, please do like, comment, and subscribe. And
you get really good at this. Yeah.
Am I?
Yeah.
Natural.
Practice makes
I used
better.
to suck at this.
Yeah, I used to forget things and
But we'd be like, peace, thank you. Oh my God, shouldn't you like it?
No. To be fair, I like the chaos actually. Sometimes energy. But yeah, thanks for joining us.
It's been really nice chatting.
And hopefully it's not the first time we're gonna see you. Blonde shade doesn't have to be in front of the camera. Anyways, this doesn't. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Oh, I like how you ended these things, Nate.